Hello, my name is Angela Hicks, Director of Global Link. Global Link is a youth exchange organization. We seek to engage youth ages 8 to 18 in Chinese language and cultural exchange experiences between the U.S. and China. Today, more than ever, our youth need to be prepared to succeed in the modern global economy. One sure way to succeed is by learning Chinese language and culture. The State Department has deemed Chinese as a national security language. You might be surprised to learn that there are over 2 million Chinese working and studying in the U.S. Therefore, there are evening and weekend Chinese schools all across America. These schools help Chinese youth to keep and maintain their language and culture. We encourage you to enroll in a Chinese school from 1 to 2 semesters to learn the fundamentals of Chinese. And then we encourage you to travel abroad with Global Link so that you can use the skills that you've learned in Chinese school. We will travel to areas such as Beijing, Shanghai, and Xianfeng, China, which is our sister cities. No doubt, in the coming years, China will have a more important voice in world affairs. We need more Americans who can speak the language and understand the culture. Who better to train and equip with those skills than our youth? North Carolina Secretary of State Elaine Marshall gives a powerful message on the importance of studying language, traveling, and studying abroad.
Hello, I'm Elaine Marshall, North Carolina's Secretary of State. I am so glad that you are considering a trip to China to understand her language and her people. We can all learn things by reading books or doing research on the internet, but there's nothing quite like visiting a country and living there and spending some time there to begin to really learn the language and the culture. I can say that from first-hand experience. When I was a college student, I had the opportunity to live for 7 months in the country of Brazil. Can you imagine a rural farm girl from America showing up in South America to learn what their life was like, and they learn about mine? It was a wonderful experience that I cherish to this day. I was there to be able to see the dramatic differences between my culture and their culture, and it was a great experience. It gave me new confidence in myself to be able to live in a country, to communicate, to begin to learn to communicate, and to understand how families operated there. That confidence has lasted me for a lifetime. Culturally, it is so important that we understand what is going on around the world. My Brazilian experience helped shape the person that I am today. And it's very important that each and every one of us, as we are into this new century, understand that there's a lot more than is in our backyard or in our county or state. And the things that will affect us and our economy and our environment and everything about life as we go forward is not going to be just limited to North Carolina or America. It is going to encompass things happening all around the world. That is why engaging with China in particular is so very, very important. We will be engaging with China as business partners, as allies, and even competitors as we move forward throughout the rest of this century. Your generation of Americans will have more interaction than China than my generation or the generations before. So it's important that we know one another. First-hand knowledge and cultural understanding will be the most important keys for our two nations to have a successful dialogue with each other. After all, we cannot expect to respect each other if we don't know each other. If you decide to make this trip, you will represent North Carolina in a way that makes us proud that you're one of our student ambassadors. You'll also learn things to help you grow as a person and give you better insight to the world around you. But last, not least, remember, if you go there to become a student, you will also be a teacher, because as you do your daily activities, you will be teaching those folks what it's like to be an American, that we have fun, how we conduct ourselves, how we think, how we do. So you'll have a lot of roles to fulfill if you decide to take this trip. You'll be showing people you meet in another country what North Carolinians and Americans are like. So my very best wishes to all of you, and I hope that many of you will take this opportunity or a similar opportunity in the future to learn about folks. I have lasting friendships from my experiences, and I expect you will too. I've even had the great chance to represent North Carolina in China and hope to be doing it again soon. Memories of a lifetime, cultural events of a lifetime, and the importance of knowing that we're all in this world together. Those are all things that will spring from this type of experience.
Some of our partners, the Raleigh Academy of Chinese Language.
Our school is established from 1995. At the beginning, we want to find a place to provide opportunity of Chinese kids to learn Chinese and understand the Chinese culture, histories. Right now, the school become bigger and bigger. We now have around 500 students, and also our education program was extended much more than before. We have the classes for second language of Chinese to every background students. We have adult classes for second language study of Chinese, and also have children. So we hope our program provide more opportunity for our community to learn Chinese, to understand China, culture, history, etc., and help to better communicate China and the United States.
The Confucius Institute at North Carolina State University.
Jiao Shenhao, Ro Jiao, Kevin Rousey. Hi, my name is Kevin Rousey, and I'm one of the board members of the Confucius Institute, and I'd like to welcome you this morning. What I'd like to share with you are various opportunities with the Confucius Institute. The Confucius Institute is a collaboration with the Chinese government and North Carolina State University. I've had an opportunity in 2007 to participate in an international trip to China along with 15 high school students in North Carolina. The purpose and goals of the Confucius Institute is to share international understanding within the University of North Carolina State University, in addition to the business community, and also collaborating with the local community. I've had an opportunity to take students over to China once again, and just to explore and to extend the learning of the students. In addition to that, with the support of the Confucius Institute, I've been involved with summer camps and in our local community within the Triangle.
And the Chinese American Friendship Association.
My name is Jay Ping Yang, and I'm a former principal of the RACL, and currently I work with CAFA. I'm the chair of the education committee there. CAFA is the Chinese American Friendship Association of North Carolina, and the organization is trying to promote the friendship and cultural exchange between the people of China and the United States here. So I'm very glad you are doing this, promoting Chinese education, and on behalf of the CAFA Education Committee, I wish you the best. We also welcome all the kids to the Chinese school, and we are very glad you are doing that, and thank you.
A UNC Chapel Hill student.
你好，我的名字是罗一文，我上北卡大学，因为我的中文很好。My name is Kevin Joshua Rousey II, and I attend the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. The reason why my application showed out for the rest of the applications out there in a 15,000 applicant pool is because my Chinese level is that advanced. Funny story, it started in 6th grade, and I had a position to either go to Spanish or Chinese language track. They told us that we would go to the Olympics if I finished all the way through high school, so I just decided to do Chinese. Throughout that, we didn't end up going to the Olympics back after we took 4 years of the language, but I did in fact get to go to China. Once I got into China, I just fell in love with the culture and with the language itself, and I've been taking it serious ever since, and I've been trying to master the language through my college years. I'm a business major, and I feel like in the business world, all business is global business, especially when it comes to China. Companies are hosting most of their input-output out into China. 75% of IBM is now in several provinces in China. Opportunities are endless, whether it becomes being a translator or even an analysis. So I feel like what I have personally with the learning of this language brings me that much more than everyone else that's applying for the same job.
Last but certainly not least, parents will share with you their keen interest in learning the Chinese language for them, themselves, and their children.
We've been studying Chinese at the language school now for about 3 years, and initially my son Miles was studying the language for Chinese language as a second language, and I was studying for Chinese as a second language as well. This year Miles has now moved to the traditional Chinese class where he's immersed in an all Chinese speaking classroom environment, and he's doing really well at this time.
In Chinese, I'm learning about characters, which is also called Chuying in China, and now I'm in the first language Chinese, and that's mostly all we do. In my dad's grade and second language Chinese, they just do Pinyin, so our homework is pretty different. I like doing writing some of the new words that I get in my Chinese class, because sometimes they seem a little weird, and it's like drawing almost, so it's kind of fun.
Well, I had been looking at the Chinese school for a few years back when Solomon was a baby, and realized that he wasn't ready for it at that point, and thought about how we needed to look into it later on when he got older. And then I met some friends, and they talked about how their son was here, and so we thought about it as an opportunity for the boys at this point. Also, I had the opportunity to visit East Africa, and I became really aware of how strong the Chinese presence is in that